FCA, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, has meetings on campus every Friday from 6:40 a.m. to 7:10 a.m. in room B120. Please attend if you are interested in joining FCA.
ACT testing will take place Tuesday, April 6th for juniors only. There is no schools for freshmen, sophomores, or seniors. The ACT test has already been paid for by the Agua Fria High School District. Students needing transportation must contact Avery Sponsler in the Transportation Department.
Azmerit Testing begins next week. Science testing is on Monday, April 12th. Juniors will come to school at 7:15. All other students will come to school starting at 9:15. Tuesday, April 13th is Azmerit Writing. Sophomores will come to school at 7:15. All other students will arrive at 9:15. Monday, April 19th, Azmerit Reading. Sophomore students will come to school at 7:15. All the other students shall arrive at school at 10:15. Azmerit Math is on Tuesday, April 20th. Sophomores will arrive on campus at 7:15. All the other students will arrive at 10:15. Remote students will need to find transportation for testing days.
I enjoy helping others by helping them clean their yards.
I enjoy helping others by giving them somewhere to come to.
I enjoy helping others by supporting them and giving them advice.
I enjoy helping others by holding doors for people.
I enjoy helping others by giving support and advice for them.
I enjoy helping others by cooking dinner for my family.
I enjoy helping others by volunteering.
I enjoy helping others by preaching about Jesus.
I enjoy helping others by giving advice.
We believe our
millennium.
Students are resilient,
determined, super duper,
magnificent, loved,
and capable.
Hi everybody, this is Kevin Atlas. For those of you who haven't heard me speak, watch the Believe in You series or the documentary The Long Shot. I was the first Division I basketball player to play with a disability. I lost my arm at birth. And currently I travel the country speaking to students and teachers, helping elevate them in their schools. My day-to-day, however, looks a little bit different in the situation that we're all in. I'm following the guidelines out in Sacramento, California to stay inside quarantined, but it's in my nature to share thoughts. I know this is unfair to you guys, and that some of you guys are missing out on things you've looked forward to all year. I'm not gonna downplay that. It stinks. I mean, some of you guys might be on the yearbook staff and not be able to show your final product to your peers. Some of you cheerleaders and athletes won't be able to go to playoffs or show your routine off that you've been working on all year. Some of you for 4 years, you seniors, look forward to walking across the stage with your cap and gown to graduate and might not be able to do that. I understand your frustration. I can completely empathize with it in my own way. I was born with one arm. Again, I didn't choose this thing. This thing's crazy. I call it my nub. It's a pretty wild thing. But it was what represents really everything I hated about my life as a kid. Things that were completely out of my control that I had to learn to adjust to. ADD was another one. I was diagnosed with dyslexia. That was another one. My parents divorced. These were all things that were completely out of my control. But I think how you react to them, that makes the person. And it wasn't until I learned to accept and embrace and love this thing that I made my weakness into a strength. This whole coronavirus thing, it's completely out of our control, but it's how we react to it that's really going to make the experience. And it bonds us, man. It's a nub in its own light. It's okay to be frustrated, especially some of you seniors who are missing out on a lot of last time moments you thought you'd always have. But take this time to self-reflect. This could be a blessing in disguise for you too if you react to it that way. It might be a great opportunity to spend more time with your parents or siblings. Reach out to somebody who's really inspired or influenced your life. Write them a thank you card. Just show a little bit of gratitude to somebody out there who has had a big impact in your life. Or maybe this is a great time for you to achieve some of those goals that you've always wanted to pursue and just never had the time because life's too busy. Can you do it now? I mean, do you have the time at home now to pursue them? Do you know it takes like 21 days to create a new habit? For an average person, it takes 21 days to rewire your brain and create a new habit. Can you start that? Can you start bettering yourself and using this time not to just binge on Netflix or play video games and become lazy and tired, but use this time to better you, to make yourself just a more sharp individual. This could be a great opportunity to read a book. When's the last time you read a full book when you didn't have to? The average CEO reads 5 books a month. That's wild. Why don't you use this time and opportunity to create a new habit or achieve a goal or something that you've set aside for a while and not found the time to pursue? And if you guys need help, don't be afraid to ask for it. If you're feeling isolated or lonely at home during this time, reach out to a friend or a parent or even a teacher or guidance counselor. They're still there for you even though you're not at school. Don't be afraid to ask somebody for help. And I want you guys to also think of somebody that might need help or a little bit more support. Just because you're not at school doesn't mean you can't practice acts of kindness and gratitude, and I challenge you to do so. So once again, just try to make the best of these hard times. This is your own nub in your own way. We have to adjust to it and we have to own it, but it might be a blessing in disguise depending on how you use your time. Thank you for your time and stay safe out there.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change.
The suicide rate for teens is
this morning, chilling images and 911 calls from
5 deaths a
So our
day.
kids are facing pressures like never before.
Feeling the impact.
Stock exchange remain
Those young people for hope.
Being a teenager in 2020 is complicated.
Being a teenager in 2020 is unusual.
Being a teenager in 2020 is intense.
Inconsistent.
Being a teenager in 2020 is very fun.
Being a teenager in 2020 is exciting.
Awesome.
Being a teenager in 2020 is extraordinary. Extraordinary means remarkable, and remarkable means worthy of attention. This generation is so worthy of attention, yet I find it so hard to speak up because we are so often labeled as immature. It's hard enough as it is to speak up, and even hard to do so in a society that doesn't believe you can.
Being a teenager in 2020 is daunting because we're expected to do so much, but as soon as we take a change or want to make a difference, we're always discredited for being too young or too inexperienced.
Being a teenager in 2020 feels stressful.
Being a high schooler is pretty hard because every decision that you're making right now pretty much molds and shapes your future.
It's like we've worked all these years to build our future, and like now it's finally here, and we don't really know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be like the decade where we determine like our jobs, like who we're with, like what we do for the rest of our lives.
Being a teen in 2020 is very difficult because college is harder than ever to get into, and it's also way more expensive than it was back when our parents went.
Being a teen in 2020, I feel is pretty competitive because if you don't have like the best grades, if you're not the best at sports, if you're not the best at something,
Then it kind of feels like it's not enough, so.
a lot of people expect people to go to college and pursue a career after that, but that's just really not me. It's really nerve-wracking because I see all my friends going to college and whatever, and they look at me like, what are you doing? Why are you not going to college?
Society glorifies one route to success that isn't necessarily what I want for my life. We have to be twice as cautious about where we are in our surroundings because of how dangerous the world is.
Every single time like a fire alarm gets pulled, I think it's a school shooter, or like if I'm in a public place, like I think something bad is going to happen just because of like things that have happened recently. So yeah, I think it can be scary.
It seems like nobody really cares about like anything anymore. Like, I don't know, I go to classes and everybody's just kind of sitting there waiting for the period to be over. Nobody's really shocked by anything anymore because we've seen everything online. Like, not that we've experienced everything, but nothing really impresses people anymore.
I feel like teenagers in 2020 have been desensitized to violence since we've seen it so much in video games and movie and the media since a young age.
Being a teenager in 2020 feels
Rushed.
crazy, fast,
Trends change quickly, styles change quickly, information moves really fast.
I wish I had more time to enjoy my friends and life at a slower pace, but nowadays kids are being pulled in so many different directions that childhood years seem to be a lot more work and a lot less play.
And so we're hearing a lot of stuff in the media about like what's going on like in the world, but then we're also trying to live as like a child still and be in high school and live recklessly, so it's crazy.
Everybody's connected through their phones, which makes it harder for face-to-face interactions.
Many people think that what they look like online is more important than what they have to offer to the world.
There's always like a lot of information just due to the internet and it's so accessible. So you never really know like what's real and what to pick out since all these sources are so biased.
There's no more joy in the little simple things. It's more about your social media following and what impression you give off on social media, and I think that a lot of the connections aren't as genuine anymore.
Nowadays society puts this pressure on us that makes us feel the need to have a perfect image or brand for college or social media or just to be accepted, when in reality we're far from perfect.
The people on the internet are fake. You're just always being watched, and that like affects what you put out.
Because of social media, teenagers feel like they have to live up to a certain lifestyle that isn't obtainable for everyone.
A lot of times teenagers are just overlooked or just looked at in a poor light because of all of the resources and things that we have and the way that we are using those things, such as social media, and a lot of adults just don't understand it, so a lot of times it is looked down upon or looked badly at.
Being a teen in 2020 is bittersweet because of all the social stresses and pressures that are put on us because of social media, and sweet because of all the interconnectedness we get between each other.
For my word, I'm gonna say taco, because at times it can get pretty messy. You got a lot going on, sometimes stuff's falling out the back, but at the end of the day, it's still good.
Being a teenager in 2020 is a blessing. With all the different things that we have at our fingertips, whether it be our phone or the devices that we're given at school, we're able to really just see all the information that's coming from around the world and be able to have a voice. I just think that we've been given so many gifts, and we have so much and so many opportunities in today's society that we might not have in previous times, that I really think that it's just a blessing to be where we are at the age that we're at.
Being a teenager in 2020 is really exciting. For me, I feel really fortunate that I was born during this time, because if I was born any other time in history, I probably wouldn't have made it to this point. I really require deep medical care, and I wouldn't have received that in any other time or place even. And I'm excited to see what the future has to bring.
I feel like our generation, as of right now, think they have to know what purpose they have in life, but in reality we have so much time to find it.
A lot of students, I feel like, are compelled to live in the future or the past, and I think making memories now and living in the present is the most important.
Being a teen in 2020 is empowering because teens have a greater voice than they ever have before. People have come together, and there have been so many movements, and there's so many avenues for your voice to be heard.
Being a teenager in 2020 is the best time to be alive.